That's how you get the good stuff, and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. What the hell? Hold on, people. I don't know what is going on here. Right, that's us. Take two. Hey, you crazy cats. 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting-edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adopters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff, and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed still a thing. Can I get a wee audio check in the chat? And I'll say some hellos and try to explain the madness as best I can. Anyway, Mr. Herbert, what about you, chum? Rory's going to be coming on for the second segment. We've got some good stuff to talk about. Sansom saying he's not here. And Al Mac is not here either. He's at a rained out garden party in Lincoln. Here, Al. Yes. Heads up, people. Al's going to be coming on. Possibly next week. I don't know. We haven't sorted it out yet. I'm not trying to throw you on the bus, but stick in the chat if you reckon next Saturday night you and your friend could come on for a segment, because me and Al's been up to mischief. We have, and it's going to be great. Sansom saying, say hello. There's a gammon sandwich. Sansom, oh, the wonderful Emma G's in. What about you, lovely? And the audio's a proper big one. Sansom sounds good. Bass, what about you, chum? Quack, quack. We've got the ducks in. October, evening, brother. Hey, that's my line. Your line's not here. What's Rory Herbert saying? Rory saying he was hopeless at bowling, but did play rugby sevens with a gentleman that went on to play for England. Why does that not surprise me, Mr. Rory? That all sounds good. Robert Ingram is in. My talking's not working the best. There you go. That seems to be everything for the minute. And fuck me, this setup is all weird. All right, we've got 12 people in. We're all good. And I will do the housekeeping and let you know what all's coming up. So, let's see. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., Jack and Rags will be hosting the Ayatollah, the man with 1,000 voices. That'll be a good show. On Monday on Sansom's channel, he's doing a Sansom Sensibility stream with Alex Pierce of The Last Jacobites, where they will be discussing the Pyramid of Power. That sounds really interesting, actually. I might have to get that one on catch up because I'm going back on the night shift next week, which means I don't be about for any of the streams during the week. Keep an eye out for John Davison, who seems to be improving very well, and I think he may be doing something on Tuesdays and Fridays, but we'll see. Just keep an eye out, and usual post and see if that comes up. And yes, I will miss the waffling. And the other show I'd like to give a shout out to, Dave's Waffle House, pretty much all week, 8:30. He comes on for an hour and a half, and he interacts with the chat. There's no points involved. Emma G's all over the whole 420 thing. Yep, loads of points coming. So there's that. So if you're wanting a bit of chilled out time and a bit of madness, get yourself over to Waffle House. What else we got to say? Yes, as I said before, going to get my friend Al Mac on, possibly next week, possibly the week after, because we have got stuff to talk about, and you're going to love it. That's as much of the clues as I can give. I will say Emma G has had a listen to the project and was very, very impressed. So there you go. Which is probably more clues than we should have been giving out, but there you go. You just can waffle about that in the chat if you wish. And yeah, yes, Emma G knows what it is. So there you go. There's all of that. Now, apologies for the mess up with the start of the stream. I don't know what went wrong with the intro and stuff, but we're here now. Don Browning's anything down on there. Glad to see it. And yeah, right. So that's us all up to date with everything. We're having a slight shuffle with the order. It's not going to be totally in the way it's posted, but we will start off with the headline that I posted on, because I think it's very correct if people turn up for this night's bowling competition stuff, that they get that at the top of the show. There's Regs is in. Evening also, brother. And with that, I'm going to pull up the first bit of content, and it's coming from the Southampton Old Bowling Green, their own website, and I'm going to make that a little bit larger, zoom this in and zoom in again. Right. Present this up. Right, that's too much information. Southampton Old Bowling Green, which was established in 1299. And this is coming from their website, The History of Southampton Old Bowling Green. Welcome to Southampton Old Green, which is probably the oldest I forgot how to pronounce this colour word, but anyway, 1299 Bowling Green. It's the oldest bowling green in the world, i.e. the oldest ground where bowls from the earliest form to modern times has been continually bowled. It is believed that a nearby ancient hospital and chapel called God's House often used the land where our bowling green is to exercise patients, staff, and visitors during the 13th century. At that time, the land was an open expanse of soft marsh adjacent to the bank of the River Test, and became known as God's House Green. Towards the end of the 13th century, games involving rolling round objects were played, which are believed to be the forerunner of the modern game of bowls. These games were originally played in the confines of rinks. These games were not originally played in the confines of rinks or any prescribed area, and is likely on undulating ground. Undulating means slight hills. It goes up and down. It's not flat like modern bowling green. Several books show sketches of these games, initially perhaps aiming at the opponent's ball or bowl, later years bowling to a peg, and finally to a smaller round object, which we now know as the jack. The game became very popular until the determinant of war skills, such that in 13 the game became very popular to the detriment of war skills, such that in 1363 Edward III made a ruling that games played with hand and feet should be banned, and every man should take up archery practice during the holidays. Now, I've actually looked into this. That law's never been repealed. So all you Englishmen are supposed to be out practicing your longbow, which could get very interesting with the police whenever you try to tell them, look, I'm just trying to obey the law. So there is that. This was the start of the unlawful games, generally lasting hundreds of years, with Richard II in 1388 and Edward IV in 1477 and Henry VII in 1496, all ruling against the game. In 1541, Henry VII arrived at the inferior persons rule, where other than on Christmas Day, the working classes were barred from bowling, whereas every nobleman and others having monies, land, tenements, or yearly profits for life in his own or wife's right to the yearly value of £100 might play bowls without penalty. Now this gets interesting. So this is in 1541, and the rule was if you have manors, land, tenements, or yearly profits for life with his own or wife's right. So the wife can have profits of up to £100, and that was included in the law. But yet we're told that women were not allowed to work their own property. So I think possibly the feminists might have been fibbing a little bit. But despite the harsh penalties for the game of bowls, as for some other games, bowls became popular from 1549-50 onwards. Court leet records of Southampton regularly contain accounts of people being fined. The court documents of Southampton regularly contain accounts of people being fined for playing bowls. Within the clubhouse is displayed a map of Southampton by a famous chartologer, John Steed, published in 1611, which depicts figures playing bowls and similar games at our Bowling Green location. I just want to jump back and check the chat. Slim, what about you, chum? Glad to see you. Anglo-Saxon, evening, brother. Basement crossbow would indeed come in handy. Bulls are potentially cannonballs. Samson wants to practice as strongbow setter. One second. Rory has given us another pair. Many of my ancestors named Albacaster, which is actually a version of the French Abaster, meaning crossbowman. Oh, thanks, Sam. That's nice to hear. Thank you very much. Nah, right. I'm back. That's looking very small on the screen. I'm going to zoom that in even more. Can I get this out? Yep. Up until the early 18th century, court-legal records include the fact that the area where a green exists was unclosed townland, but in 1704, the wording changed to the Bowling Green and ditches without Gold's Houses Tower, now enclosed in the converted to private life of the townland. A paper by J.M. Keel titled The Old Bowling Green Affair suggests in 1707 a Mr. Lambert, who leased the land immediately north of our bowling green, decided that although his property contained a 9-pin alley and attracting many people to his house, which was a pub, a bowling green would be of further singular advantage and bringing custom of gentlemen. He planted hedges and trees around the green and created a pathway and gate leading to his house. Basically, he fucking stole it. It took until 1749 for Southampton officials to wrestle back the God's Greenhouse, initially by taking over small strips of land to the south and west of Lambert's rented property. They then built a public house at the northwest corner of the green, mostly on the stone strips of land. And in 1750, following arbitration with God's House, owned by Queen's College, Oxford, the house in Green was handed to a Mr. Sadler to manage on behalf of Southampton. It is likely that when our green was enclosed, it led to the formation of a bowling society or club. In 1777, a newspaper reported once again that the paying for Mr. Right, here's where it starts again, listen. And this is where the night thing comes in. In 1777, a newspaper once reported again the playing for Mr. Miller's silver medal, as was the tradition. This report validated the start of what is now called the Knighthood. In 1776, a competition which has been continued and is probably the oldest bowling competition in the world. Some years later, the same newspaper reported that in 1781 that Mr. Miller had been bowling at this location for approximately 60 years. Our first clubhouse was built in 1820, and in 1827 on the west side of the green. It was rebuilt in 1872, but still encroached upon the green by some margin. The clubhouse was torn down in 1929 and rebuilt at the southern end, enabling the green to be squared off with 6 rinks each way, and thus conforming to the modern game of parallel bowls. There's a picture of it off the right hand side and some of the people, and they're all very well dressed. There was a major concern when in 1894 Southampton authorities called a meeting to discuss the future of the valuable land containing our bowling green. Fortunately, the town clerk and Mr. N.B. Nadler investigated the history of the land and our Bowls Club very thoroughly. On the 8th of August, he reported to the council, "It is probable that the ground was set apart for recreation and bowling from the earliest period of the history of our town." So they found a precedent. They went, this is what this land's used for, and they're fucking keeping it. Nice work, sir. He was successful as our bowling club was given permission to carry on using the land for bowls. The Southampton Bowl Club played a massive part in expanding the game of bowls. A former member and knight of the Old Green left the club in 1889 to start the County Bowls Club, soon attracting 140 more bowlers within Southampton. The Sportsman newspaper, dated 18th of October 1895, reported that the Old Green and County were among 11 clubs attending a meeting on the 17th of October at Winchester House, Bond Street, London. The proposal by Mr. Cole of Southampton, Old Green, that an association be formed that was accepted unanimously. Thus, the London and Southampton Counties Bowling Association was formed. More bowling greens were opened, and in December 1919, our club met with four others to form Southampton District Bowling Association. During what was a busy time for our committee, a nominally met again with other clubs in November 1920, this time to form Hampshire County Bowling Association, and by the start of the 1921 season, there were 15 affiliated clubs. This is average, everyday people coming together, and they're creating a bowling movement and spreading it forthwith to the people. The green and clubhouse were damaged during World War II when bombs aimed at the docks destroyed part of the green and caused a tree to collapse on the clubhouse. The crater within the green was 18 feet wide and 6 feet deep. The oval football ground where Glentoran played, very close to me, there was fucking geese swimming in the water in the crater that was left whenever it got hit by the bombs. Again, aiming for the docks that are right beside it. During the war, considerable help from our members was received from Australia. Once our green was relayed in 1948 at a cost of £950, which was quite the bit of money back then. Club members set about repaying the debt owed to Australia. Members collected enough to purchase a large ornate silver trophy, which was presented to the Middle Park Bowls Club, Melbourne, and many years on, it is still a coveted trophy to be won by the Melbourne Bowlers. Our 700-year anniversary of our green prompted a thirst for more knowledge of the club's history. Archives were revisited, papers reread. It was a shock to discover that the agreement with the town authorities in 1894 regarding the lease of the land had never been formalised. They've been squatting for 700 years. Have a go at taking that back. Not a fucking chance of it. Senior members and trustees met to discuss this delicate and potentially disastrous situation. It took some time to carefully approach the matter legally. Finally, in 2001, the club was granted freehold and tenure, i.e., the status of the land shall remain whilst bowls continue to be played at this location. Thus, the future of the green on our club is guaranteed, perhaps for a 1,000-year anniversary. That's actually quite the touching story, and it brings in the history of our country. Now, Rory, do you want to jump in at this juncture? Are you still in the chat? Did you get the link I sent you? Go ahead and jump in. I'm going to check in with the chat and see what I'll be saying. Sanson and Anglo are talking about beer. That's good. I like that. Stand bowls. How's that? What about you, Sean? And Mr. Rory is in. 1 second. Sorry, I need to cough. Good evening, sir. How's yourself? Rory? Rory, can you hear me? Rory, your mic's muted, chum. I think Rory's having a little bit of audio trouble. It's saying here that your mic's muted.
Oh, silly me! Silly me! Yes, I muted my mic. I'm a boomer, I'm afraid. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry, you're in good company. I messed up the whole start of the stream, so we're fine. Yep, you can hear Rory now. Yes.
No, when I signed on to StreamYard, I immediately muted my camera and the mic. So because I could put my face on here, nothing to be scared of. But I thought, no, let's keep to the avatars.
Yeah.
But so anyway, we had something to discuss.
We do indeed.
Yeah.
This is a Christmas card.
I know.
Right.
Carry on.
Right. And it's a Christmas card from the George Cross Association.
Well, Victoria and George Cross.
Oh, sorry. Right. Silly me. Of course it's both of them. Right. It's a Christmas card from the Victoria and George Cross Association. Rory, how in the hell do you get one of them?
Well, we'll go through this in a minute. There was a gentleman called Lieutenant Colonel Wilson, VC, and when to tell you the absolute truth, my parents received this. I didn't receive it.
Right. So it's a family card.
It's a family card. I did meet Colonel Wilson on a number of occasions for lunch, and he was he and his wife were very interesting people. I thought it'd be an interesting point of discussion because if we go, all right, we're going back, what, nearly 20 years now.
Mm.
But the list of people on it is very interesting.
That it is. And strangely enough, it does tie in with something that I was going to talk about this evening as well.
Well, absolutely.
It's total serendipity. Now, would you like me to present the other side of that card?
Yes, but may I first say?
Yep.
That if anyone wants to scroll down to the bottom of that second page, it mentions the Royal Ulster Constabulary.
It does indeed.
And this is what you wanted to come on later. So, all right, let me say my little bit. Let me read.
Yep. Yes, yes. Do your bit first, please. Hello.
I'm still here.
Right. Yes. Say the bit. Go ahead and talk about the stuff that you want to talk about.
Right. Okay. What I thought I'd do, is in memory of these people, and it's very interesting because Colonel Wilson is down the bottom of the Victoria Cross recipients, and I think they put the oldest ones at the end. So anyway, I'm not going to read through the George Cross, but I think it's only in the honour that I should read through the Victoria Cross recipients. Yes.
Yep.
So it starts off with Captain R.W. Anand, VC. Howdar Bangblatter Gruen, VC. Flight Lieutenant J.A. Cruikshank, VC. Lieutenant Colonel Fraser, VC. Mr. E. Kerr, VC. That's interesting.
Yes, and from Australia.
Rank. From Australia, yeah. Havildar, another man, Guru, VC. Mr. G.R. Norton, from Zimbabwe. That's interesting. Mr. K. Payne, VC, from Australia. Captain Ram Bahudur Limbu. Nepal, again, you see. Mr. E.A. Smith, VC. Mr. Speakman. Pitts, VC. And Lieutenant Tulbar Pun, VC. Sub-Major, that's a strange rank. Umrao Singh, VC, from India. The Right Honourable Sir Taker Watkins, VC. And finally, my friend Lieutenant Eric Wilson, VC. What I was interested is that it's amazing how many of these VC winners from Nepal. I mean, they're obviously in the Gurkhas.
Yes. But the other point of interest is that this is obviously not a complete list of Victoria Cross winners.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yes, at the time.
Yep.
Not complete. No, not complete.
No.
Yeah, the ones that were alive when the Christmas card was issued.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, right. So you've got an association, and what they do is they list all of the people that have won the Victoria Cross that are currently alive, and they're the names that go. That's that.
Yeah, exactly. And,
right.
And obviously the George Cross.
Yep.
I mean, I know you want to go on to about the
yep.
Royal Ulster Constabulary being awarded the George Cross.
Yes.
In 1999, but
yes, go ahead.
Would you mind? Would you mind if?
No, please. I am at your talk about the VC winner that you have that you have met and stuff, because.
All right. Well,
it's not very often we actually meet. There's very few of these people about, and whenever you've had personal interactions with one, it is very interesting.
But all I can really say on that subject for you is, yes, I've had lunch with him and his wife, on a few occasions. He's passed away now, but just the nicest people. You would never, ever have thought that he had won the Victoria Cross. It was. You'd go to this restaurant and someone would turn around. Oh, do you know that's Eric Wilson, VC? So I thought on his behalf, I just read this out, if I may, 42.
Oh, yes, please do. Please do.
This is a formal citation for Eric Wilson, VC. In October 1940, when he still was presumed to be dead, it says, the King has been pleased to prove the award of the Victoria Cross to Lieutenant Acting Captain Eric Charles Twells Wilson of the East Surrey Regiment, attached to the Somaliland Camel Corps. That got me interested. But here it is. For most conspicuous gallantry on active service in the Somaliland, Captain Wilson was in command of a machine gun post manned by Somali soldiers in the key position of Observation Hill, a defended post in the defensive organisation of the Tug Argan Gap in British Somaliland. The enemy attacked Observation Hill on the 11th of August 1940. Captain Wilson and Somali gunners under his command beat off the attack and opened fire on the enemy troops attacking Mill Hill, another post within his range. He inflicted such heavy casualties that the enemy, determined to put his guns out of action, brought up back a battery to within 700 yards and scored 2 direct hits through the loopholes of his defences, which, bursting within the post, wounded Captain Wilson severely in the right shoulder and in the left eye, several of his team being also wounded. His guns were blown off their stands, but he repaired and replaced them, and regardless of his wounds, carried on. Whilst his Somali sergeant was killed beside him, on the 12th and 14th of August, the enemy again concentrated field artillery fire on Captain Wilson's guns, but he continued with his wounds untended to man them. On the 15th of August, 2 of his machine gun posts were blown to pieces, yet Captain Wilson, now suffering from malaria in addition to wounds, still kept his own post in action. The enemy finally overran the post at 5 p.m. on the 15th of August. So that's the end of that one. Sorry, it was a bit long, man. But I think it's... Back to you. What did you do?
Oh, shit. I muted myself while you were talking, and I forgot you on mute, so I was talking. See?
Did you hear my thing? I don't know.
Yes, I heard all the stuff that you said, but I had muted myself, so whenever I started to reply to you, no words come out. Well, very well deserved award. That's the definition of somebody deciding that they're just not going to pass.
Well,
fighting on.
What I found interesting about it was, the Somaliland Camel Corps. I mean, what on earth was that? I mean, apparently he went on to serve in the Long Range Desert Group.
Makes sense.
Obviously closely connected with the foundation of the Special Air Service.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, maybe the Somaliland Camel Corps had something to do with that. Going to battle on your camels.
I worked with a guy who was in the RCT, and they were out somewhere, and there was somebody ended up attached to them, who was the last camel tracker in the British Army.
Oh, a camel tracker?
Yeah. So, you learn how to read a map, and in our country, it's pretty basic, because see if there's a hill to your right and a river to your left. No matter what happens, unless the hill gets blew up by artillery or something, the hill's still going to be there, and the river's still going to be there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the desert, the wind blows the sand, and the sand dunes all shift.
So you mean the camels know where they're going, basically?
No. Well, this guy went out on a camel, right? And you had a whole bunch of tanks, right? And you've got the front of the camel reading the map, right? So the tanks are crawling along a camel walking pace, and so he was leading an armored column in World War II. He was the front in the desert with the camel.
42. No, I'm sorry. Camel navigation doesn't hit it with me.
Well, it wasn't that it was camel. It wasn't that the camel was doing the navigation. It's that he did the navigation on a camel. So he arrives at this point that looks like every other point in the desert, but he knows it's where it is because he can read the fucking desert maps, right? And then he trots off back to the commander of the armor and says, right, there you go, 300 yards over that hill. That's where the place where you're going to attack. And the tanker says, the tanky commander says, what are you doing? Says, well, I'm fucking off. I can't stay here. The camel's afraid of the tank noises, the rounds. And off he went again back out in the desert.
I do have an old photo of my grandfather riding a camel, actually, in Egypt or somewhere. But, anyway, 42.
Yep.
More importantly, if you scroll down to the bottom of that page.
Yes, I will get that scroll on that.
You see, and it reads, here we go.
I can get.
In addition, collectively, the island of Malta was awarded the George Cross in 1942 and the Royal Ulster Constabulary in 1999. Now, I knew about Malta being awarded the George Cross, but it's up to you, I think, 42, to explain how the RUC was awarded in 1999.
This is where it gets quite interesting. So, up until partition of the island, you had the Royal Irish Constabulary. Then Northern Ireland becomes a country. The Royal Irish Constabulary becomes the Garda Síochána, whatever the fuck it is they use for that second word, I don't know. Right, the guards in the Republic of Ireland, and the remaining police in Northern Ireland become the Royal Ulster Constabulary. And they were the police. Now, you had another group called the Black and Tans, somewhere in between that. And you had another group called the B Specials that were part-time police officers. Right? But from the start of when the Civil War, commonly known as the Troubles, started in 1869, the Royal Ulster Constabulary were the police, and they policed all the way through the Troubles. A lot of their members were killed during the Troubles. A lot of those that were killed were murdered. Whenever they were off duty. They would routinely have bombs placed underneath their cars. They were murdered at their family home. Really shit situation. And then in 1999, we're getting ready for this peace deal and everything, and the moving on the peace. And it was decided in 1999 to award the Royal Ulster Constabulary the George Cross in recognition for, as a police force, their service that was above and beyond what any other British police force had ever had to deal with. And that was done.
May I just interrupt for a moment for you?
Yep.
Presumably, this was awarded by the Queen.
Yes, this was awarded by the Queen, and it's the last significant thing that happened within the Royal Ulster Constabulary, because in 2001 the Police Service of Northern Ireland became a thing that was put into place, and the Royal Ulster Constabulary was disbanded. And
by the government.
By the government, yes. They went, this Royal Ulster Constabulary, it's too big, there's too many Protestants, it's not inclusive enough, and we need to disband it because we can't get Catholics to join. The fact of the matter is that whenever a Catholic joined the police, they had to move house. They had to disassociate themselves with their family because the Irish Nationalist Catholics banned any Catholic from joining the Royal Ulster Constabulary, as they did with the PSNI whenever it became. So the problem associated with being a Catholic and being a police officer didn't go away, because the same Catholics that wanted to murder the police in the RUC still wanted to murder the police in the PSNI.
So what you're basically saying, 42, is the Queen awarded the RUC the second highest medal of in the British Army, and then 2 years later they were told to F off.
Yes, and the work was already being done for getting the fuck off while they were given this award.
Well, I applaud them for their award. I think it's important.
Oh,
I think we should always remember it.
There is the PSN. It's now the PSNI, but there's a social club that the police have always had near Shaw's Bridge. And it's actually a really, really nice social club. There's a function bar on it, there's gardens, there's whatnot, and it's a place where police officers can go and they can actually relax because there's security around it and whatnot. So it went from being Royal Ulster Constabulary to Police Services in Northern Ireland, but there's still.
I'm old enough to remember, when that changed, and I just thought, "What are you doing?"
Well,
this is a good bunch of men, and they're from the Royal Ulster Constabulary to the Police Service in Northern Ireland. What? Why?
Well, funny to mention that. We call them the police serving nationalists' interests. And to clarify, because it gets all weird, whereas in Great Britain, people consider nationalists to be pro-British, in Northern Ireland, nationalists are pro-Irish nationalism. And we call the PSNI, we call those the police serving nationalist interests, because it was changed in order to, it was the biggest thing in that a lot of the Royal Ulster Constabulary left and didn't go into the PSNI, but the social club that they have up near Shaw's Bridge in Belfast, whenever you go into that, there's a plaque about the awarding of the George Cross for the Royal Ulster Constabulary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And there's also a plaque that gives the names of all the members of the Royal Ulster Constabulary that were murdered during the Troubles. And
that's very good for you.
Yeah, the police service in Northern Ireland, if they had their way, would have that removed. But that's what's being kept of their legacy.
Well, excellent, and so it should be. Many of them were blown up, weren't they? By the RA, and many bombings.
Oh, but not just whenever they blew up police stations. Many of them were blew up driving out of their driveway because the explosive had been put underneath their car. One of the telltale signs that somebody was a police officer would be if they routinely took their kids to school in the morning, but they went and took their car out of the driveway and onto the street and moved it about a bit before the kids got on it, because in case it went boom.
Well, exactly, 42. I mean, you had to put mirrors underneath your car, didn't you, to check whether there was a bomb underneath it?
Well, here's here's where it becomes interesting, because you're living on a street and you haven't told everybody that you work for the police, or you work connected to the army or whatever, because it's probably not great that everybody knows that. Well, if you start fucking about with a mirror underneath your car, everybody's going to know in an instant, right? That person has something to do with the security forces. So they generally did this thing where they tried to have a look without it looking like they were having a look, and then they drove the car around the block, and then they let their kids get in there because they hadn't went boom.
Well, that's very interesting. 42. I know we started off with the Victoria Cross and George Cross Association. I'm going to have to leave shortly. I'm sure you have other people in the chat who'd like to come on and talk about something else, but it's always lovely to speak to you.
It's an absolute pleasure. And see, whenever you sent me that Christmas card, I was like, I need to hear this story.
Well,
how do you end up on that Christmas card list?
Yeah, I don't have your address, otherwise you will definitely be on my Christmas card list. So you have to send that to me. Anyway, 42, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and the chat, and absolutely carry on.
Yep.
So I'm going to hop out. If you don't mind.
Right. Oh, no problem. And again, thank you very much for coming on. It's a really interesting story, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing that.
Well, I thought it was an interesting topic.
Yep, it is.
Clearly emblazoned into something bigger.
Yeah.
Which I know you can talk about. So good night for now, 42.
Good night for now, and thanks again. And say you're always welcome on. And with that, now, what I had planned, I'm going to do the segment I was going to do last, because we've ended up talking about Northern Ireland again, and we have yet again a 25-year anniversary of quite an event. And I'm going to talk about that. But you do my best, mate. I do my best. Right, so I know it's only a couple of weeks ago we talked about the Hyde Park bomb and the Regent Park bomb, and I've said, no, I'm definitely not going to just make this the thing where we talk about things getting blew the fuck up. But we're on a 25th year anniversary of quite an important event, and I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not going to talk so much about the event itself. What I really want to talk about is how it's being put into how it's being remembered, how it's being put into prosperity, as it were. So I'm going to read an article from the Encyclopedia Britannica, because I think whenever people start to look about, whenever looking for good trusted sources of what happened and whatnot, I think Encyclopedia Britannica is probably pretty high up on that list. And you would think you're going to get a good account, an honest account of what happened, and it's going to give you the necessary information in the right order. So, I'm also going to share a little personal anecdote as I begin to talk about the Omaha bombing. All right. The Omaha bombing happened a few months after we signed the peace deal. And the peace deal was, we had this referendum and we had the peace deal, and also known as the Good Friday Agreement. And the deal was supposed to be that everybody would try to get on with each other, and if we agreed to the Good Friday Agreement and all the concessions that were going to be given in the country, that we would have no more terrorism. That would be a thing of the past, would be consigned to history, and everything would all be lovely and jolly and bright. And that went through, and then about 3 months later, we'll get the exact dates in this. It's in the article. I was out shopping with my children for stuff for going back to school, because in Northern Ireland you go back to school in September. We're out fighting about getting bits and pieces for that. And I was in a shop and I could hear the radio, and the radio was talking about a bomb blast, and I'm sort of thinking, what the hell's going on? Because are they talking about something that happened years ago? But this is in the days before mobile phones being a thing, and before Facebook, before all that. So was never getting the car to start driving home and had the radio on. And instead of it being stuff about football and whatever, it was all about this massive bomb in Omaha in County Tyrone. So let's see what the Encyclopedia Britannica has to say about it. Omaha bombing. A terrorist attack in Omaha, County Tyrone, Northern Ireland on the 15th of August 1998, 25 years ago, in which a bomb concealed in a car exploded, killing 29 people and injuring more than 200 others. This figure of 200 others is also the same number that they used on Bloody Friday, and interesting, more than. I'm pretty sure they know exactly how many people were injured. More than 200 can be 201, or it can also be 500. I believe that they pick more than 200 to keep the number down. The Omaha bombing, carried out by members of the Real Irish Republican Army, Real IRA, or New IRA, because they're definitely different people. Whenever they change their name, it couldn't possibly be the same sick bastards with a change of name. Was the deadliest and most damaging attack to have occurred during the 3-decade-long civil war known as the Troubles in Northern Ireland. The attack came just months after the citizens of Northern Ireland voted in favour of the Good Friday Agreement, a document laying out the necessary steps to peace and order and the order in which they should be taken. Maybe stop blowing people the fuck up. Maybe that should be at the start of it. That should be the first one. No. The Troubles, a civil conflict between members of Northern Ireland's majority Protestant community, who wanted Northern Ireland to remain part of the United Kingdom, and its minority Catholic community, who wanted the province to become part of the Republic of Ireland. Began in the late 1960s. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to translate this. It should read, civil conflict between Northern Ireland's majority unionist community who want to remain part of the UK and its minority Irish nationalist. Because you know what? There are Protestants that want an All Ireland, and there are Catholics that want to remain part of the Union. The conflict isn't about religion, it's about nationality. They've alluded to that here because of saying what the two people want. But there you go. So you've got that for a problem for a start. In late 1997, the Irish Republican Army, the IRA, and various Protestant paramilitary groups declared a ceasefire. On April 10th, 1998, delegates representing the major parties to the conflict signed the Good Friday Agreement. Now, here we go. Actually, I need to check the chat. Yep. That's exactly it. It has indeed. Exactly. That is exactly it. Troubles, Code for Civil War. Right. Let me continue. A number of Irish Republican Army members disagreed with the decision to declare a ceasefire. However, they were disgusted by the Good Friday Agreement, which required the Irish Republican Army to seek a political solution to the conflict through its representative political party, Sinn Féin. These members split with the group and formed a competing organisation, the real IRA. Well, got a question for you, people. See, whenever one side doesn't do what they said they would do in a peace deal, does that not make it null and void? Should the deal not have been ripped up there and then? It is believed that on the day of the bombing, members of the real IRA drove across the border from the Republic of Ireland to Omagh in Northern Ireland. Omagh, a small town with a largely Catholic population, see, because they don't give a fuck who they kill, had long housed a British Army garrison. In the early afternoon, a car carrying £500 bomb was parked in the town's market square, an area frequently crowded with shoppers, and even more so on the day of the bombing, which marked the final day of an annual town carnival week. 1 second, I need to cough. Oh, holy fuck. Oh, holy good fuck. Rags, thank you, chum. How long have I been muted? Oh, fuck. Yep. How long have I been muted? Can you hear me now? I'm about 4 minutes. Well, that's not that bad. Here's the problem, people. See, whenever I go on to the other page and start reading it, I can't actually see the chat. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm sorry. Piss Martin saying 10 minutes. Since Carnival. Johnny Pearl thought he was going deaf, poor soul. Oh, fuck. Rags, thanks for that text message, mate. Whenever seen the text message here, me or something not fucking right here. Right. Right. Around 2:30 p.m., a call was placed to the Homeless Police Force warning them of a bomb. The police believed it was near the town's courthouse, a building at the opposite end of the main street from the market square. Police rushed to clear the area, tragically directing people towards the market. Shortly after 3 p.m., the car bomb exploded, destroying 2 buildings nearby. Okay, first off, what had happened, in fact, was the terrorists did not phone the police. The terrorists phoned the Samaritans, an organisation that is not allowed to record calls and cannot write anything down. They phoned the terrorists phoned the Samaritans and said, "By the way, chum, we're planting the bomb at X place. It's going to go off at Y time, and could you let the police know?" And they give a code word that has been used whenever a bomb actually went boom, so they know that it's a genuine bomber and not a prank. The attack immediately put the peace accords into jeopardy. You think? Although suspicion quickly fell on the real IRA, many unionist politicians declared that the IRA's failure to disarm they said its reluctance to do so had been a major obstacle throughout the peace process and had allowed the atrocity. Because I've got this weird radical notion that if they had to give over all their explosives, they wouldn't have been able to blow people the fuck up. Providing some reassurance about the IRA's commitment to the peace process, Jerry Adams, president of Sinn Féin, made an unprecedented declaration condemning the bombings. Fuck me, the one time he said bombing people was bad. Previously, the IRA's position was that civilian deaths were regrettable but justified. In the days following the bombing, the British Parliament passed harsh new anti-terrorism laws that allowed suspects to be convicted on the word of a senior police officer, and the real IRA issued an apology for the bombing, insisting that civilians had not been the target. Well, do you know what, fuckpot? See, whenever you take a car, you load it full of explosives, you set a timer on it, you park it up, and you walk the fuck away, you've given up worrying about who's going to be standing beside that whenever it goes boom. I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. Now, in December 2001, Nuala Long, the Ombudsman for Northern Ireland's new security force, issued a report severely criticising the conduct of the Royal Ulster Constabulary. That's those people we just talked about getting the George Cross. They said that they were bad. In particular, the officers of its special branch in the days before the bombing. The report maintained that a highly regarded police informant warned his special branch handlers that a bombing was being planned somewhere in Northern Ireland for August the 15th. Have you seen the size of the fucking country? We cannot shut the whole country down on August the 15th on the basis that there might be a bomb somewhere. And, well, no, I'll read the next wee bit first. It further alleged that a warning was also received by the RUC that a mortar attack on police headquarters in Omagh was also planned for that date. Records of those events, however, were never found within Special Branch. So, these fuckers are blaming the Royal Ulster Constabulary for the bomb killing the people. Radical idea. Why not blame the people who planted the fucking bomb? Martin, was I muted again? Hello? Budgie Burgers tell me everything's good. It's a job we can read. Again? Rags is telling me the audio's good. All good, right. We're back. The show's back on the road. Yep. B.S. Martin telling me we're all good. The victims' families expressed outrage at the report's conclusions, outrage that it was only heightened when the only person convicted in connection with the Omagh bombing, a Republic of Ireland citizen, Colm Murphy, had his conviction overturned and a retrial ordered in 2005 because law enforcement officials tampered with interview notes and perjured themselves. A second suspect, Shane Hoy, Murphy's nephew, was acquitted in 2007, with the judge once again strongly criticising law enforcement's handling of the evidence of the attack. Frustrated by the criminal courts, the families of the victims took the case to civil court, suing Murphy, Seamus Daly, Liam Campbell, and the founder of the Real Irish Republican Army, Michael McVitt, for their involvement in the bombing. On the 8th of June 2009, a judge found that the four men were liable for the attack and awarded the relatives $1.6 million. Where does that $1.6 million come from? Did those four fuckers pay it out? Because I would doubt that. I would doubt they had $1.6 million to give. In 2014, Daly, the last remaining suspect, was charged with murder of those killed in the bombing. The charges against him were dropped in 2016. Now, this is what the Encyclopedia Britannica is saying about this. It seems to blame everybody apart from the fucking bombers. And it has very and it is extremely light on one very important topic that has not the victims themselves are nowhere in that report, and that is something that does need to be addressed. And I'm going to address that now. Here we go. I'm going to zoom this in. I'm going to zoom it in again. Okay, whenever I put this screen up, Yeah. There are times when looking back in anger is the absolute correct thing to be doing. Right, people, whenever I put this screen up, I'm going to start reading, and I ain't going to stop till I've got to the end of this bit, because it ain't going to be an easy task. And I'm not going to read all of the information. This comes from a thing called the Sutton Index of Death. The link for it is in the description. Whenever you go onto this, you find an index of everybody that was killed in Northern Ireland during the Troubles, and it's segregated into years. And here you go. 15th of August 1998. I'm not going to repeat that for every one of these. Maura Monaghan, 1 year of age, Catholic, civilian. James Barker, 12 years old. Fernando Blasco Bacacala, 12 years old, Spanish visitor. Geraldine Breslin, 43 years old, Catholic. Deborah Ann Cartwright, 20 years old, Protestant. Lorraine Wilson, 15 years old, Protestant. Brian White, 26 years old, Protestant. Fred White, 60 years old, Protestant. Philomena Scattle, 39 years old, Catholic. Fida Short, 56 years old, Protestant. Elizabeth Rush, 57 years old, Catholic. Roca Abad Ramos, 23 years old, Spanish visitor. Alan Radford, 16 years old, Protestant. Gareth Conway, 18 years old, Catholic. Julia Hughes, 21 years old, Protestant. Breda Devlin, 1 year old, Catholic. Oren Doherty, 8 years old. Adrian Gallagher, 21 years old, Catholic. Esther Gibson, 36 years old, Protestant. Mary Grimes, 65 years old, Catholic. Olive Hawks, 60 years old, Protestant. Avril Monaghan, 30 years old, Catholic. Brenda Logue, 17 years old, Catholic. Anne McComb, 48 years old, Protestant. Brian McElroy, 54 years old, Catholic. Samantha McFarlane, 17 years old, Protestant. Sean McGrath, 61 years old, Catholic. Sean McLachlan, 12 years old. Jolie Morrow, 17 years old, Catholic. Francis O'Reilly. Oh, hold on. That's us. And what I want to know. Yep. And there was one of the women was pregnant. Yeah. And my question for the panel is what murdering those people did to help anybody. Little known fact, Irish nationalist terrorists killed more Catholics than they did Protestants. But the trade tells it's all about Protestants and Catholics. It's not about nationality, it's about religion. They might have fucked the murder so many of their own. Thank you, St. Thomas. Indeed, may they rest in peace. And that be my thoughts on the Omaha Bomb. Right, I need to 1 second. And I can't just move on. Give me a second. I'm going to play a little song. Right. Right. 1 second, people. And 1 second. Rather than just move on to the next bit of content, I'm going with a musical interlude.
Oh, the work was hard and the wages low. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. I guess it's time for us to go, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, tomorrow you will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The winds blew foul and the seas run high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. We shipped 'em green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The mate was a bucko and the old man a Turk. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. And the boatswain was a beggar with a middle name of work, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The old man swears and the mate swears too. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. The crew all swear, and so would you, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The starboard pump is like the crew. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's all worn out and will not do, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The rats have gone and we the crew. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's time be damned that we went to, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Well, I pray that we shall ne'er more see. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. A hungry ship, the likes of she, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her.
Right. Yeah, I do like a good sea shanty. Right. I'm going to address a comment from Mr. Blogs that I think is interesting, and then I'm going to move on to different content. Just give us one momento. I grab the comment. Okay. What do you think of the theory they quit terrorism armed struggle after 9/11 and the war on terrorism started? Their funding from the plastic patties in the US would dry up along with the other support. Well, in short, I think that theory is bullshit. My opinion is that the intelligence services and the police and the army intelligence and the police intelligence knew exactly who every member of the Irish Republican Army, Irish National Liberation Army, Ulster Volunteer Force, Ulster Defence Association, Ulster Freedom Fighters, and every other little group was. They had everybody pegged, and they had extreme difficulty getting any operations to do the work. There was also the nationalist organisations, particularly if you read Raymond Gilmore's book, What Price Truth, they were very heavily infiltrated with agents and whatnot, and the reason why the amount of terrorist attacks went down was because everybody was pegged. Now, what happened with the change from Royal Ulster Constabulary to Police Service in Northern Ireland was a lot of that intelligence structure was dismantled, with the army being removed from the country. All that intelligence, those intelligence resources went, and then whenever the peace deal went off, half of the Irish Republican Army that were supposed to be involved in the peace deal kept their weapons, kept their explosive dumps, kept all of that stuff, and started over, and also recruited in new people. And those people were not pegged like the legacy terrorists, and that's how they got away with it. Yeah, Billy's agreeing with me. Everything under control, strong government. That's where we're at, and that's why things changed after that. And we also got a police service that were only interested in finding half the terrorists, and that never really does well for you. Now, on a much lighter note, we're going to have a little look at the Marhamchurch Revel. Just get this up. Boom, boom, boom. Right. This is actually from a blog, but it was the best source I could find. So we'll just have to go with it. So here we go. This is the Marhamchurch Revel in Cornwall. This was posted in, this report was done in 2017, so it's not later yet, but it should be pretty much the same. So this is this guy's or ladies, because I don't know who it is actually write this. This is this person's report of the day, as it were. So one minute I was sitting on a beach at Bitchute, the sun was shining, waves crashing, and the next minute I had realised in about 15 minutes Marhamchurch's unique Revel was about to begin. Fortunately, I was only 6 or so minutes away, but a world away from the seaside delights of Bitchute. Here, having taken various revels, is the Marhamchurch Revel, a local feast with decidedly curious additions. Here, the quiet village celebrates their natives, who is said to formed a cell on location of the church. Fuck, learned the right bastard. And whose feast day was conveniently perhaps close to the ancient pagan celebrations of harvest. Perhaps. We'll have a quick look at that video in a minute. The revel has its origins in the medieval period and possibly beyond. And records of the Cornish Record Office show that it was a rowdy and drunken affair. And after many concerns over the behaviour of those who attended, it died out. It is recorded that on the 12th of August 1912, the Marhamchurch Revel was revived in a quiet style in the garden of Con, English's house on College. So they've took the old thing and they have they've removed the alcohol and the Cornish wrestling by the looks of it, and they have made it a lot more family friendly. This revival looked at one point to have died out before it started. During the First World War, the revel was only remembered by local children taking flowers to the church for the saint. It took until 1931 for the revel to be established with more vigour again, this time taking a decidedly Lammas flavour being associated with the first day of harvest. And we've talked about the Lammas fairs before, the harvest festivals. We actually did that last week. I arrived just as the main street was being lined with onlookers, and further down the street I could see a procession moving in the general direction. This consisted of flower girls, dances, Saint Marina, and Marshall and a page boy. Boys carried green boughs, said to represent the first harvest in the early part of August. There was even a stilt walker with a puppet monkey, all very traditional. Standing on a platform was the character Father Time. I'm going to check I'm not muted. I'm not. DJ, what about the chum? Santa's met a lad off Tinder called Kyle, and he's a way to go. Right, just check the chat. We're all good. Standing on the platform was a character of Father Time, wrapped in a dark hooded cloak and wearing a grey beard. like a waylaid Santa. It is a rule undertaken in utmost secrecy. He carries an hourglass and scythe, possibly borrowed from the Grim Reaper, and reported strands and stands on the site of the original saintly shrine. The mystery was rather spoilt by someone in the crowd shouting out, "That's Dave, isn't it?" Fortunately, the guy doing the blog doesn't know who Dave was. Once the Queen stands on the podium, Father Time proclaims, raising the crown above the girl's head, "Now look, that this is all be seen. I here do crown thee of this year, the Queen." The crown of the Queen is said to represent the Christianization of a pagan deity, but to my mind, it was just like any other May Queen. But then again, it's not May. But then again, I particularly enjoyed the impact of the safety conscious world had on the ceremony. The crown was a riding helmet, a great idea, but it did not exactly fit the new Queen's head. So, a little bit about the actual thing. There is much formality in the custom. The Queen must be selected from the pupils of the local Church of England school, thus be a native of the village. Not quite sure how long all the children in that school are going to be natives of the village, but that's another story. The blue clock, by tradition, is passed from queen to queen, and the Queen must always wear white. One can hearing those early 20th century planners selling out the ideas to make it as Merry England as possible. After the ceremony, the Queen on her horse leads the visitors to the revel field on a small patch of ground behind the houses. Here we are able to experience a typical fare of such feasts: dog shows, bouncy castles, coconut shies, plate throwing, and breaking, and some local kids were certainly good at that. Added to the fun around the village, scarecrows and fancy dress party, all good. Marhamchurch is rightly proud of its revel, and come rain or shine, a great welcome will be received by all. I'm going to show a little bit of the video. I've got a timestamp to go to on this. Yep, 2:30. Right, so we're going to have a little look at a bit of the procession, and I've a bit to say on that. I'm actually going to switch this to YouTube. Can I switch this to YouTube? YouTube.com is blocked. It refused to connect. This does not sound good. Right.
Marhamchurch Village has an annual revel in August. The church
Quite interestingly, we've seen it seems to be at the floor dance just gets used whenever we need a bit of music for something like this. Sorry, you over that. Here comes the Queen.
Oh, Father, time of mine, parcel of years, and down the ages I have heard the peal of merry bells from yonder ancient tower, ring in the joy of Morwen's holiday. Long years ago, before that fane was built and blessed, your village dwelt in heathen night. Then Morwen came and brought it heavenly light. And now each year to honour her, your queen, crowned to be your yearly queen, a chosen and good and stay, that she may carry on St. Morwen's life of holy woman's influence. And as I pass, I pray this golden place in every saintly mind. Now look, I all be seen. I declare thee of this year the Queen.
That's Father Time. That's the hourglass that he has just beside the sky thing.
The Queen now mounts her trusty steed for a round trip of the village.
Right, there we go. There's that Marhamchurch Revel. And right, we'll deal with this. The creepy thing, that creepy thing's Father Time, who crowns the Queen. Yeah, it's not quite riveting, but it is an interesting old tradition. So we decided we'll do it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this. If anybody wants to come on for a chat, here be your opportunity. and I have quite a bit to say about the chimney sweeps, but I am keeping this short because the Oma stuff took a little bit more out of me than I had planned for. So I'm going to do this. Old Father Time is a figure that comes out in old British traditions, sometimes at New Year, sometimes at Christmas. In the traditional mummers plays, Father Time's the first person that comes in to start the whole thing off. Says something to the effect of, "Room, room, brave gallant lads, give us room to rhyme. We shall bring you activity upon this active time at Christmas time. Active youth and active age, the likes of which you've never seen in any stage." Something like that. So Father Time runs through a lot of different things. What are you saying? Not wanting to be negative, but a friend of mine, Sam Turner, lost his life at 9/11. My sister-in-law also watched the whole thing happen from her flat until the dust was too much. Yeah, fuck. That must have been absolutely fucking hideous, mate. I have a lot to say about 9/11. Not least the artificially inflated death figures. Not that rags. We'll do all the New Year stuff at New Year, but it was a New Year thing. It was first footing, but we will do all that at New Year. Mr. Roy, what about you, sir?
42. Thank you. Getting a bit late, but
Yeah,
you just mentioned 9/11, and that was something I went through.
Yeah,
personally. No, I wasn't there.
Yeah,
In the Twin
but
Towers.
your friends that were involved in it.
Oh, a friend of mine was there. Yep.
Yeah.
He lost his life.
Was your
sister-in-law?
Sorry,
My sister-in-law was like 4 blocks away, and for it all happened. And we tried to get in touch with her. This is the weird thing about it, 42. And all the phones had gone down. All the mobile phone communications, the landline communications. So we just didn't know what on earth was going on. It was a scary time.
Yeah. Was your friend in the fire service, or was he there because he worked in the building?
No, he was in the finance business. Yeah.
He's in the right. So he should have been in the building, and they should have been evacuated a lot earlier than what they were.
Well, absolutely, yeah. No, I agree.
The problem
they actually told them not to leave. It's going to be fine.
As soon as the first one hit, there was an evacuation order given, and then it was rescinded, and they told everybody to go back.
But they did. They said stay in your offices. Everything's.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, there were 2 twins. It's the Twin Towers, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I actually went up on one of them many years ago and looked over New York, and it's like unbelievable that they were so tall. It's like you're flying in an aircraft, you know. You can see all over the city. I mean, they're wonderful buildings, but
yeah. Have you ever seen an aircraft whenever it has suffered a bird strike?
Yeah.
Yeah. See that big hole that a bird will rip in the wing of an aircraft?
No, I haven't. No, I can't say.
Oh, yeah. Really strange. Bird strikes take down aircraft.
Well, we can talk about. Do you want to talk about Concorde?
Oh well, the
Yeah.
problem the problem, right? There was a number of things went wrong. Well, hold on. How did the people on the planes get perfect phone calls? Because they were on the ground whenever those calls were made. Because it is not possible to make a cellular phone work in an aircraft. It just can't. And at that height, you'll lose connection. Plus, there's all sorts of issues with the speed it's traveling at, and trying to pick up signal. It just does not work. But the problem with Concorde, there was a number of things. The plane was due to go further than it should have went, so they took the baffles out of the fuel tanks to let which gives them an increased capacity. So that made the risk of fire more dangerous than normal.
Hold on. Hold on a minute, 42.
Yep.
Come on. We've all seen the video of Concorde taking off from Paris, wherever it was, and hitting something that was on the runway.
Oh, right.
The next thing we heard was, oh, that's right, all Concorde flights are banned.
Right,
I mean,
yes.
Come on.
Right. But allow me to continue. So they had took out the baffles, which allowed the fuel to move further. They had not swept the runway properly. The tire hit a screw on the runway. The screw punctured the tire, and whenever the tire went out, that caused the aircraft to dip to one side. The wing connected with the ground. Now, what would have happened is possibly the end section of that wing would have went on fire, but would have stopped about 5 foot in, because that's where the baffle was. But that then allowed it to ignite all the fuel in the whole wing, which was fill the capacity, and from that point on, you're fucked. The grounding of all Concords was not a logical decision based on that one accident, particularly whenever you look into the fact that the simple act of properly brushing the runway would have prevented it. However, when that happened, there was already a lobby in place trying to get Concords closed down, because they didn't like the idea of it going from London to New York, and people arriving an hour before the left in times, because the time difference and the carbon, and that being a plaything of the rich, and they successfully got it stopped. But whenever if a bird strikes the fuselage of an airplane, it can rip a hole in it, and I'm not quite sure how well an aircraft would do crashing into a building and how far it would penetrate. And I definitely think that those wings are getting ripped off.
Yeah, well, 40, when you're flying 55,000 feet at twice the speed of sound, I don't think you're too concerned about birds up there.
Oh,
you can see the stratosphere.
Oh,
and you can see the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, but it's Concorde that goes away up there at speed. It's not a 747.
Say again?
It's Concorde that goes away up there. It's not a 747.
Yeah, I'm talking about Concorde, yeah.
Yeah, but my point was an aircraft would not go into those towers the way that said that. But Concorde should have been allowed to continue. It was quite an ingenious piece of engineering, in that
Yeah, absolutely.
there was guys up there in our spy planes that stay up at that very high height, and they're up there in basically a spacesuit, and you've got Concorde going through, and you've got guys down there in their short sleeves smoking a cigar. It's fucking amazing.
Well, I was lucky enough to fly Concorde once. I have some a photo of me actually in the cabin with the pilots, and again, you know, Mach 2. I'll send them to you. Of course, too. I was a very young man at the time.
You were up in Concorde in the cockpit.
Yes, absolutely.
Holy fuck! That would be quite the experience.
It certainly was. I'll send you the photos.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But the other thing that happened in 9/11 was, first of all, it didn't evacuate whenever they shoot and how they shoot. And the second thing was they pumped more and more and more firefighters into it. And if you took I'm convinced the reason why they forced and filled it full of firefighters and kept sending more and more in was to increase the numbers. Because you could not have got any way close to the number of dead that you got without filling the artificially filling the buildings full of firefighters.
You're right. Yeah, you're right there.
Now, this is where this is where it becomes awkward, because you say that 9/11 wasn't the way it wasn't the way it's presented, and what people start thinking, what fuck, you think that they faked all the dead people? No, they didn't. All those people genuinely died, and it's fucking tragic. But they artificially inflated the number of people that died by A, not evacuating, and B, bringing more people into it.
Well, yeah, I guess I would agree with you. Agree with you there, but it as I said previously, it's because they said, "Oh no, just stay in your offices, you'll be fine." And then, of course, the second aircraft hit, and boom, it all started to go down.
Well, I don't know. As soon as there's any fire in a building, I'm pretty sure the advice is get out, get the fire brigade out, and stay out.
Well, yes, and of course they did, and they went there, and many firemen died.
Yes,
but
you're
talking, what was it? Is it 200 stories or something? It was a crazy amount of stories.
Yes, but if they have started evacuating the people, they didn't need to send in the firemen to get them out. It's you see where I'm going? The reason why
yes, I do, 40. When I went there, you got in the elevator or the lift, the elevator they call it in the United States. You went in the lift, and you'd only go halfway up. Then you had to get out of there, go to another lift to go to the top of the building just to have a beer or two. You know?
Yeah.
It was all a bit crazy.
Yeah, they had it sort of segmented off.
Yeah,
it's all a little bit. It's all a little bit. But haven't seen the way. Haven't seen the way aircraft disintegrate whenever they tend to hit something. It's very, very, very strange. The way the I would have expected the majority of the wings of those aircraft to be on the floor outside.
So would I. Yeah.
Yep. And that's before you get into the aircraft that apparently went into the Pentagon.
Well, 42, I don't know how long you're intending to keep this stream going. I was just going to try and find you some photos of Concorde, actually.
Yep. If you can find them, send them over.
Okay, it'll be by email. So let's see what we can do here.
Mr. Al Mack, what about you, chum?
Good evening.
How's yourself?
Hello, mate. Hello, mate. Not too bad. Hang on. Let me just get rid of. Hang on a sec. Oh, fuck. Look, give me 2 seconds there.
Yeah, no problem. Are you back home again?
Right, I muted that. Okay. You got me now? You hear me okay?
Yes. Sounding good.
Brilliant. Right, yeah. Sorry, Roy, to interrupt, mate. My gig.
No problem at all. No problem.
Nice one. It's nice to speak to you, actually. I've heard you a few times on the 40 show. Yeah, my gig was cancelled tonight. And so I've been putting your thing in the chat there. A bit of a mad one. So we have been watching something. We've been watching that thing about like the new Netflix version of Dope Sick called Painkiller. Fucking brilliant. But anyway, sorry to interrupt. I just thought I'd nip in there. But you guys carry on, and I'll speak to you in a sec.
Right.
No, you carry on, sir.
Yep.
I'm just trying to find my Concorde photos.
I'll have a quick chat with Al, and Rory's going to find his Concorde photos. Does that work for you, Al?
Oh, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
Well, do you think you might be possibly free next Saturday evening to come on for a little bit, or possibly the Saturday after?
I think the next 2 Saturdays, unfortunately, going to be busy. I've got
you're gigging.
Yeah.
Right.
Next Saturday, can't remember where it's at. The weekend after is like full on. It's like a triple header. Yeah. Sorry about that, but we'll come on soon, and I think we've got a couple of things to talk about, haven't we?
Oh, we have quite the thing to talk about. That's okay. That could actually work out all right for me as well, then, because it means I don't have quite the time crunch.
No. Well, you take your time doing what you're doing. If this all sounds a bit cryptic to everyone listening,
I love it. I love it. Yes, Al and I are in cahoots.
We have been up to stuff, haven't we? We have been up to stuff.
We have, and it's going to be fucking epic, and you'll all get to see it. When it's ready, and whenever Al and another person have time to come on and we can present it properly.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to happen soon. We've done our bit. It's all up to you now. I know nobody knows what we're talking about.
Yes. The ball has been passed back.
Yes.
Yep.
I think we did mention it before, didn't we? But yeah, to everyone listening, me and 42 and my collaborator in Justice Kane have been putting something together. I think we did spill the beans last time, didn't we? But it's still at that point. It was still in the making, and I apologise for the amount of time it's taken. But you just never know with these things. It's gone through a few different aspects, but I know most people won't know what we're talking about. But we are about to release something that's quite awesome, and I think everyone knows that 42 is a fucking awesome poet. And and I
no,
felt
you're
it
good.
might...
Don't go away.
I'll stop now.
Yeah, that's enough of a teaser.
Okay.
We'll probably figure it out. Like, but yeah, we've got a project going. It's going to be good. Just going to have to sit tight for another couple of weeks. I'll have the hard bit's going to be whenever I got my bit finished, because it's going to be sitting there and we'll have to keep it on the wraps. But
yeah, I know you're on the case. Sorry, Rory.
Yep.
No,
Go ahead.
no. I'm back. No. I bow to you. Yeah, please carry on. I was just going to say, I just emailed you the photos, 42. So
right, I will dig them out now.
to bring me up as a young man in the cockpit of Cornwall.
Oh, got to see this.
Yeah. And Mach 2 at 55,000 feet. I took a photo of that. That was quite interesting.
Right.
Yeah. I only just sent him 42 the email.
Yep.
So
I've got them now.
there we go.
1, 2.
A good way. I don't know when you're ending the stream, 42, but
well, whenever.
Not a bad way to end it.
Yes, it will be. It will be soon. Let's see. Here we go. Window.
Funny enough, I was wearing my Mickey Mouse cufflinks. There I am.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
You remind me of someone. I'm trying to think who you remind me of. Jesus, he's a good-looking fella. There.
He is.
Whatever happened, Rory?
I just aged, unfortunately.
Haven't we all?
Lost my hair. You know?
Yeah. You look very smart, Rory. Yes, and Mickey Mouse cufflinks, very nice. That is excellent.
And then the other one was. I had to take that one of Mach 2 at 55,000 feet. Have you got that one?
I'll get that one up now. Share screen.
I mean, it's unbelievable. You're traveling at, twice the speed of a bullet. It's crazy.
So the speed's actually just a digital readout.
Yeah, they do that all the time when you take off in it and they
right.
you're doing and your altitude.
Very nice.
Rory, I think I missed it earlier. Were you a journalist or something like that at the time?
But was I a journalist?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. No.
Right. How did you end up in Concord, apart from you bought a ticket?
Right. Well, I can tell you exactly how I ended up in Concord. US Air had a deal with British Airways. And I was living in America at the time. And I did a couple of trips from the USA to England by British Airways. I did also many other trips by US Air. And you had to, if you saved up 6,000 points, I think it was, something stupid like that, you could get a choice of a first-class flight on a 747 on British Airways or Concorde. And quite clearly, there was only one decision to make,
Yeah. That's going to be a Concorde every time.
Had to be, absolutely. I think it was about £6,000 return flight. I mean, it was an awful lot of money. And so, yeah, to do it on points was absolutely brilliant. I had to fly from Washington DC to London Heathrow and back. But no, it was great fun. Great fun.
I have to address this comment from John and Pearl. Oh, our thing will be out before Dangerfield's book. That is guaranteed. You can take that one to the bank. But yeah, that's
that was a cruel comment. That was, wasn't it? 7 years on for that. No, 2 months on, and we're just finalising the visuals of it. Honestly, that was terrible. No, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be worth it.
Yep. For Rory, there's a Chris Dangerfield that you probably don't know or may know, but he's been writing a book for, I don't know, 5 years, but our project will be finished before Dangerfield's book. Of that there is no doubt. Right, so back to Concord.
Sorry, did you say back to Concord?
Yes. Do you go up high enough that you can see the curvature of the earth?
Absolutely. There's a few things, about flying on Concord that you just don't even expect. I mean, they take off, and obviously you're subsonic, and then they fly past New York, and then they go supersonic, and you have to put your seatbelt on again, because the G-force is the same as you take off, which is much greater than a standard aircraft. And then they go supersonic. It's like, whoa, here we go again. It's like taking off. Absolutely crazy. And then you gain height. And as I said, to have these very tiny little windows, and this is really interesting. You put your hand on them, and at 55,000 feet, there's so much heat from the very little air that exists up there that they're actually warm, and the fuselage apparently expands about 2 inches. But yes,
Rory,
yes.
Well, you don't. Do you hear the sonic boom at all? I'm presuming probably not, because
No, not at all. No,
traveling at that speed, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely not.
See, where the sonic booms happens, about 3 miles behind them by the time it happens.
Well, this is why this is why it was never really successful, because a lot of countries they cancelled it because they thought the sonic boom was going to destroy houses, so they didn't allow Concorde, like America and Europe, allow it to fly supersonic over the land space.
Pardon my naivety, but see if you're out over the sea and you go supersonic and the boom happens there. See, whenever you go back down to normal sonic speed, is there a second boom there?
No, I think it's when you go supersonic.
Yeah, so I mean, potentially all you gotta do is go out to sea, and then that negates your problem with a boom.
Well, it's not quite as simple as that, 42. No, because if there's something flying at that speed, it will apparently cause a sonic boom. But that's the same as a nuclear missile, That's a little bit more dangerous, I have to say. But no, it's when something's flying above the speed of sound, it can cause a boom. But most of them, I think it's a load of rubbish, to be honest. I mean, most of them is straight.
Rory,
my dog barked at it. You heard a boom,
Yeah.
Rory, Linda's just making a point there. Did you get what was the food and drink situation? And did you have to pay €1 to go to the toilet like you have to do on Ryanair?
Oh my gosh, Linda, that's a great question. It's you. Washington Dulles Airport had the Concorde departure lounge, and I got in there, and it was huge, and the most beautiful women serving you with aperitifs and drinks on the house. You know, it was
blimey.
unbelievable, and what to do? I don't know. I tell you this story.
Yeah.
Really funny one. My father, he phoned me and said, "Can you find a starter motor for my Bristol motor car?" And I said, "Yes, of course, Daddy." And so I checked this in on Concorde, and I was in the departure lounge.
With a starter motor.
I know it's crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I was in.
Not a crank handle.
Departure lounge, you know, with these beautifully attractive women serving me drinks and things. And suddenly there's a notification. It says, "Is there a Mr. Herbert here?" And
I bet the ladies love you, didn't they, Rory? I bet
I went up. I said, yes. I said, "There's a problem. We need to check what you're doing. You go down to your check-in." I went downstairs to check in, and they said, "You're checking this in on Concorde. We thought it was a bomb." I said, "No, it's a starter motor." So I may be the only person who's ever been thought about for placing a bomb on Concorde.
Well, you've got one on me. I've never done that. I've put a few things on airplanes before, but not that. Not a crank handle, not a starter motor. But I can well believe that the hostesses were absolutely wowed by you, Rory. You must have been having a great old time.
That's very kind. I was married at the time.
Yeah, what goes on Concorde stays on Concorde.
Undue advances on them.
Look, you don't have to say any more. It's okay. You won't go any further than this. You know, what goes on Concorde stays on Concorde.
Absolutely. Right. Anyway, 42. Carry on.
I'm quite a bit worried, but that's Rory. Your stories are phenomenal. They are really good. That's a hell of an experience. back down the thing. Yeah. What's this you're trying to bring on Concorde? Yeah, it's just a starter motor.
I've no idea. 42. We the whole thing about the Victoria Cross and George Cross thing.
Yep.
I don't even know how that came. How did that happen?
Well,
I mean, there was an email or something, and
yeah, you sent me an email with the card, with the pictures of the card.
Yeah, but it was part of a stream that you did before. Oh no, you said you were doing your last stream, and I thought, here's something interesting. So
yep. I've mentioned something about a Victoria Cross or a George Cross.
No, it's your fault. Definitely your fault.
And yeah, gotta be. And then you sent me the card, and I was like, yeah. So this person's getting Christmas cards from the Victoria and George Cross Association. I really need to find out how the fuck that happens.
And now you're talking about Concorde.
Yeah, and now we're on about Concorde. Yeah.
It's all good fun.
It is. It's very good. It's very interesting. I must admit, I really enjoy your stories. As does Emma G, by the way. Oh,
is she still up? 42. Is she still up?
I would say she's asleep. She has.
Yeah.
She's currently on. She's currently on placement. She's currently on placement. in the hospital ward because she's doing a course to move from being a carer to a nurse. So she's whenever she finishes, she's going to be fully qualified to become a nurse and hopefully get a job in the hospital. But her shifts are 13 hours, very long shifts. So
Jesus Christ.
yeah, so she was working yesterday, and then she was up with me this evening. And I took her back down, and then came on to do a stream. So yeah, I would expect her to be asleep. What I will say is, whenever we got up to my place this afternoon, as soon as we walked in through the door, she wanted to listen to something. And
Okay, what was that then?
just right, yeah. Yeah,
Master?
but
Was it a master?
yeah, it was a master. Yes, it was indeed. And
Was it favourable response?
oh, she fucking loves it.
Oh, brilliant. Okay,
Yeah.
brilliant.
And she did not get called out by any telephones this time around.
I know, but everyone will do. Everyone, I have to say that 13-hour shifts, man. You know, when I do a 90-minute set, then people want an encore. I get the right fucking you know, that's how much of a fucking diva I am.
Yeah, it's they are long. 1 second. Yeah, they are long days that those nurses work. That's just the norm.
Yeah.
You know,
Full respect to her, man.
Yeah.
She's doing brilliant.
Oh, she's doing really well. She started this course. She's the module that she has fully completed and everything done. She got a distinction on that. And all of our there's a mixture. There's the nursing stuff she does, and then there's a load of academic stuff. And she's doing really well in all of it. So it's good. I'm really pleased for her. Yep, she's wanted to be a nurse pretty much all her life.
Yeah. Oh man, that's amazing. It's amazing. I think you're like me, mate. I think you're punching above your weight with the ladies.
Yeah. So, mate, I so am. I'm just hoping she doesn't figure it out.
Exactly. We just got to keep on pretending.
Yeah, it's and oh my god, the one thing I can't say this. If Emma's ex and my ex have got together, that would have been karma because they
want to make a lovely couple.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would have been, But Emma and I getting together, we got our good form of karma, and it's just absolutely wonderful. Yep. Right.
Yeah, I just know if when I meet her, I just know that I'm gonna like her. I just she's cool, too cool for school.
You will get on, and I'm sure we'll get on with your lady whenever you just come over.
Well, we're coming for the Ulster Friday, mate. It's going to be over the next sure the year after. We're coming for the Ulster Friday, so it's happening.
Yep. Yes, we get an Ulster Friday, and we get a wee city tour and all the interesting places and bits of historically important rubbish and stuff you'll find in Belfast. I swear to fuck with it.
Well, I've recently seen a few bits of footage of some murals. I'm not going to say any more.
Yeah.
But fucking hell, man. Honestly, just it's mad. Incredible stuff, man. Just incredible stuff.
I go past that every day on my way to work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know it's easy to sort of, just you get used to your surroundings and you don't sort of think anything of it. It's like nowhere else in the world, and it's not like the sort of real sort of baby paintings from years ago that we'd see in the 70s and 80s of murals, and that's fucking mad stuff, man. It's just some of the artwork and
yeah,
it's incredible.
It has ramped up a level.
Yeah, it's way beyond fucking Banksy. That's the kind of shit we get around London.
See,
can I ask? I'll make a question.
Yes, mate.
Are you talking about paintings of murals?
Well,
no.
we're talking about the actual murals on the side of buildings in Belfast.
Right. Okay.
I
was just going to say, I have. I'm lucky. I have many beautiful horses who
you have many horses
every day with a beautiful women.
Right. Oh, fantastic. No, sorry, mate. I interrupted you. You're talking about you have loads of beautiful horses and beautiful women passing your house. I mean, this sounds idyllic, mate. Honestly, carry on. I interrupt you. Sorry.
No, and it's a wonderful thing to see and a wonderful thing to hear. The clip clop, them trotting past, and seeing the beauty of the animals and the riders. Yeah, it's excellent. It's a great enjoyment for me.
Don't forget the riders.
Well, I'll never forget the riders. Yeah.
I do like Rory.
Anyway,
I do like Rory.
The female ones.
Yes, well, I presume that's what you mean.
Exactly.
The jodhpurs, they can never be too tight, can they?
Yeah, nothing like a good jodhpur.
Amazing, especially with your accent. Rory, where are you from, roughly?
Oh no, I don't mind saying. I was actually born in Sheffield.
Really? My brother lives in Sheffield.
Absolutely, yeah.
But where does that just incredible accent and voice come from?
Well,
it's just the ladies must love you.
Well, some of them maybe. No, my parents moved down from Sheffield to Sorces in the early 1960s. No, mid-60s. I was born in 1962, so I basically grew up in Dorset. But then I was sent off to public school.
Ah, right, okay.
And that was quite interesting because you had a lot of people from different areas of the country. Some from Yorkshire, some from Scotland, some from Ireland, some from America, in fact. And in fact, one, from a Nigerian prince. I could tell you, I know I better not speak about this on YouTube.
You sure that wasn't a scam?
He buggered quite a few. But anyway, no, I'm not going about that.
I didn't know you were going to go down that road, but brilliant, fantastic.
But no, it was really interesting. It really interesting because you went to the school at the beginning of term, and you'd have your local accent, Yorkshire, Lancashire, Scottish, whatever, Dorset, West Country, and within a week you'd be all sort of speaking the Queen's English, and then you'd finish the term, or half term, they'd go off again, and they'd come back again, and they'd be using their local accent, and then they'd change. It was weird, absolutely weird. But hey, that's just how it worked, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I've always had this.
Rory, check the screen.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That we were talking about murals like that.
Well, yeah, good for them.
Yeah, that's down, but that's close to where I live. It's sort of between my house and my work. and that depicts the Ulster Defence Association on parade in the early 70s.
Oh, really?
Yep, that's I assume it's in a bit. That is East Belfast District, G Division, Ulster Defence Association.
Yeah, well, we need to have a discussion about that.
They were like,
They look like stormtroopers, don't they?
yeah.
Amazing.
Well, they appeared in the early 70s to close off the barrier between the unionist areas and the nationalist areas to stop people coming in and shooting people.
So where was the split? 42 in Belfast.
Right, it's all over the place. Belfast is a patchwork quilt of unionist areas and nationalist areas. And they are all over the place. Like there's
So why wasn't that resolved? After the Civil War,
because
why didn't Ireland say, right, okay, this is part of the British Empire?
This is going to be a complicated one.
Right, I'll tell you why. Because the Irish nationalists didn't accept. To my mind, what happened was, in the First World War ends, divide the country. Republic of Ireland's got that section. Northern Ireland is a section. Northern Ireland's part of the Union. But the Irish nationalists didn't accept that, and they have worked from then and are still working to create a united Ireland and the people.
Hence Civil War.
Hence the Civil War, and the people and the Unionists obviously are none too pleased with being told that they're not allowed to live here and that the country's not British, and so what happened in the 70s was there was.
I'm going back to the 1920s.
Yep. Oh, right.
What happened back then?
What happened then?
Surely.
What happened in the 1920s was the Unionists in the Republic of Ireland were forced to move to Northern Ireland, or because, well, staying alive as a Unionist in the Republic of Ireland was somewhat difficult, and the nationalists in Northern Ireland, there was an attempt to assimilate them into a British country, and they have refused to assimilate, and they have kept the divide going, and it has flared up in conflict, and the conflicts have calmed down, and the last major flare up was in 1969, and it is somewhat of a quieter period at the minute, although it is all very tinderbox and ready for going absolutely fucking mad.
That's very interesting. See, in my opinion, I think that the British government should just turn around to the Irish government at the time. I can't pronounce the phrases that you have, but as words, they should just turn around and say, hey, do as you're told. Yeah.
Well, the
It's a bit like telling the French government to do as you're told. You know, it's
well,
it's just a different country, isn't it? You know.
Lots of them fought for their country in World War One, and the British government have said, "Look, these people fought for us and died for us. You're not going to get what you want, Mr. Ireland. Thank you very much."
Right. What happened was the Irish soldiers that the 16th Irish Division raised in the Republic of Ireland went to fight in World War One. It was raised as a division to fight the British in Ireland, and the 36th Ulster Division was raised in Ulster to fight the British or the Irish or whoever the fuck we needed to fight, did not become part of a United Ireland. And the deal was cut between the leaders of the Irish Division and the people who would go on to become the Irish government, and between the leaders of the Ulster Division and the people who would go on to become the Northern Ireland government, that we're going to divide the country. Ulster's going to stay part of Britain. The Republic of Ireland's going to become a thing. And in order to get that deal done, the 16th Irish Division had to become part of the British Army, and the 36th Ulster Division had to become part of the British Army. So they all went.
Sorry. What do you mean they had to become part of the British Army?
Right. So you've got a militia in the Republic of Ireland that is quasi-legal because it was supposedly formed, and you can legally form a militia for use to protect the country if the country's going to be at risk, right? And so that's the basis on which the division in Ireland and the division in Ulster are quasi-legal. Right? Plus the fact that whenever you've got people with machine guns, the police aren't really that interested in going and arresting them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
40. I know there were regiments, British regiments, stationed in Ireland and in World War One, and serving in Belfast and other areas. They were brought back to fight in France.
Yes.
So I think maybe that was part of it.
No.
No?
No, that's not part of it. Right. So what happened was the Irish, not the Irish government, people in Ireland have formed a division of soldiers and are ready to go to war. And who they're willing to go to war with is the British to get the British removed from all of Ireland. And you've got a division in Ulster who are formed, armed, and ready to go to war. They're ready to go to war with this Irish division because they don't want to be British, or any British people that try to force them into a United Ireland. So there's a deal done that home rule is going to happen in the Republic of Ireland. It's not going to happen in Ulster. That's going to become Northern Ireland, and it's going to it's going to be part of the Union. And part of that deal was the 36th Ulster Division would merge into the British Army. And also on the other side, that the 16th Irish Division would merge into the British Army. They would all go to France. They would all go to France and fight the French.
Yeah. The 36th Ulster would on the Somme. Yeah, same division.
Yes, a mile up the road from where your grandfather was.
And your grandfather, indeed.
Yeah, yes, our grandfathers were about a mile apart on that same offensive. But the deal that was done was these divisions that you've got, merge them into the British Army. We're going to do a deal and that this part of Republic of Ireland is going to become a thing. Northern Ireland is going to become a thing, and what has happened is that deal happens immediately at the out. As soon as the Republic of Ireland's formed, there is a civil war within Ireland between people who are willing to accept that deal and a bunch of people that think that deal is not good enough and they want to continue to fight the British to remove Ulster from the Union and incorporate that into Ireland. I'm not that au fait with the Irish Civil War and which side won, but I believe it's a side that we're happy enough with the situation. But then since then, not the Irish government, but a small number of Irish people have forever since agitated and told a whole bunch of fucking lies and got gullible people to join terrorist organizations in order to have conflict with the British. And that's not to mention the Irish government allowing the German army to have U-boat repair and refit planes in the Republic of Ireland during World War II. It's all mad. Yep. Those same fucking Irish people that reside in Glasgow, those wankers.
Yeah, I know a little bit about those.
Yep. So that's your that's your dose of Irish history for this evening.
Not quite.
Right. Okay. What have we got, Rory?
Well, as you well know, my wife's grandfather was a member of the IRA.
Yes, this is true. Yes,
War.
we were going to do a stream about this.
We were.
Yes, and exiled Viking, wherever he is, he's missing on parade. He told us he'd read books of this stuff, and
he certainly did.
Yes.
So
and you were going to cover that bit with your family. Exile was going to cover the wider conflict, and I can't remember what I was going to cover, but it was something.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the Dundalk jailbreak.
Yes. Oh yes.
It was the biggest ever jailbreak in Irish history. I think 70 of them came out. The IRA, part of the IRA, it's hard to explain. Yeah, they blew a hole in the wall and they all got out, including, I forget the name of the man, you probably let me know in 42, but he became the second Prime Minister or under Prime Minister of Ireland, whatever they do.
I have no knowledge of that whatsoever.
We need to look into this a little further.
Yeah. Yes. I have not as much knowledge of who the Prime Ministers of Ireland have been, or the Taoiseachs of Ireland have been, as I do about the Prime Ministers of Morocco or Chile, because they're of the same level of interest to me.
Well, not until the Dandy Gandy, anyway.
Oh fuck. That man, is a fucking lunatic. An absolute fucking lunatic.
I knew that'd set you off.
Yep.
Here we go. On another topic. Apparently, the Prime Minister of Wales, and he's not the Prime Minister.
Oh, Dalford?
Drakeford, yeah. Drakeford,
he's
resigned. So we're now apparently we're expecting a foreigner to replace him. In which case, you know, with Rishi and all the others.
I know where you're going with this, and you're right. Bang on, man.
Ruled by people not
by
of
India.
British ancestry.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
For fuck's sake, what the hell is going on?
Well, I didn't want to get too political.
Here's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is every one of those people have been elected by the great British public.
Well,
but who are the great British public now? Well,
this is
who are the majority?
It's globalism. It's called globalism.
Yeah,
they are put in place. I mean, look what happened to Liz Truss.
Oh, have you heard about Ireland 2030?
No, I haven't.
Oh, they've got this great plan. They're going to increase. They're going to increase their population by 50% between now and 2030.
Oh, really?
Can't see anything going wrong there.
Yeah, right. Well, here's the thing. It's a bit hard to have that amount of children whenever you don't have the right amount of women of childbearing ages to do it that way. So they're just going to import them.
Well, that's the easy way, isn't it? It's
the
easy way. Well, it's the way of the West.
Yeah. Want more people? Yeah, I'll find you a country that's got plenty. And also it seems to be pretty much set that they have sold. Fuck. They've sold a chunk of land to China for a smart city.
What in Ireland?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
I can't remember.
I can avoid it. When
I need. Well, you're all right because they haven't even started building this fucker yet. But there apparently there's been an area of land sold, and it's going to be a smart city for Chinese people, and they'll bring over all the Chinese people, and they'll all live in this smart city and do whatever it is Chinese people do in smart cities.
That'd be like the World Chinatown, you know. It'd be like a bit of crispy duck.
Yeah.
If only it was just that, eh?
Yeah. Well, there's been Chinatowns all over the world since for fucking ever, right? Everywhere you have like a
Chinatown's fine.
A small Chinatown, and that's fine. But see, whenever they're having their own fucking city, that's not good. Here, Edmund, it's not Dublin. This is a whole new build. Because it's a whole new build because they'll put in all their fucking social credits score, checking out shit and their facial recognition and everything else that goes there. It's fucking mad. It is absolute.
You know that facial recognition systems that they have. Does that work on Chinese? You don't have to answer that as a joke.
Right. The facial recognition system works on fucking anybody. Here's what it does is it plots the shape of the outline of your head, and it puts all these dots about, and
exactly that's my point. You don't have to go there, honestly. You don't have to go there.
No. Almac, how about your avatar recognition? You know, you put that out on the interweb, and yes, they will find you.
They will, and that was me in 1997 supporting some well-known person or other. You know, so what?
I don't. Fortitude's avatar, I just do not understand.
Right, hold on. I'm going
to broken his arm.
Right.
Mine is fairly straightforward. It's called latte.
It's the pyramid without the all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye is in the middle. What's going on there, Roy?
I am going to try and get a picture of my avatar. Where would I grab one from? I think I might have it in Facebook as a profile pic. 1 second.
Oh no, not the real 42.
Oh no, no, a picture of my avatar. I'm not sure where I can grab one from very quickly.
Is it going to
I
be?
was-
Is it 42? 42. Is it going to be 1,000 subscribers before you do the
Yeah.
face reveal? Was it
Uh,
1,000? Was it?
Right, I've changed my mind on this. I can tell you exactly where my face reveal is going to be.
420. 420.
No, it's going to be the day after I collect my pension.
Okay. I
Uh,
don't blame you. I don't blame you, mate. It's
it's the
things are a little bit more serious where you live than where I live.
my issue is I'm currently 9 years away from my pension, and it's quite a decent pension. And I really don't want to lose that on the back of shit I've said on the internet. That's my.
I do not blame you. That's all. For me, it matters not, but I don't blame you at all, mate.
No.
Do you want a quick Rory face reveal?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, here we go.
Norman. Wait.
Good evening, gentlemen.
I just knew you were going to be wearing one of those hats.
Well, I thought
fantastic. Fantastic.
All right.
You're not disappointed.
Yeah,
you look
thank you.
Exactly how I imagined. Fantastic.
I should have had a cravat.
Top man. That is the only thing missing. That is the only thing missing from the accent. But brilliant. Indeed. Top man. Top man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Now, if I can get this up, and then I can. So, this is my avatar. So you've got a man, and you've got his back, and in the arm, you've got machines that are working the cogs. And what this is to represent is the machine 42. And so I was looking for an avatar that was part person, part machine. And which goes along with the whole very quick. This is called Y42. Y42, I hear you ask. Oh, sorry, it's about why it's the name 42. So Y42, I hear you ask. What lurks beneath that writer's mask? Is it humane? Has it got a brain? Has it simply gone insane? I say names of her people with humanity. Since I lived with her, that does not describe me. I'm more a machine. I function, I toil. Open my veins, there's no blood, only oil. A machine needs no name. A part number will do, so I chose a good one. I chose 42. But I have no need for pity. Brilliant. This machine feels no pain, so I'll work under that number till I feel human again.
That's excellent. You're one of those creative types, aren't you? You're one of those creative types that I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
That I'm not, but I love your poetry, mate. I've never appreciated poetry before, and it was only till sort of recently that I never appreciated lyrics. I know it's a ridiculous thing to say for a musician, but you've certainly turned my head around on your ability to make something crystal clear in a rhyming passage. How do you do that? Oh, fuck knows, man. That's cool.
I tell you what, if you've been involved in music, and the majority of our popular music songs mean absolutely fuck all. And
Correct.
And even the ones that here's how they work, right? I remember being 14, 15 and like Oliver's Army's on their way. Oliver's Army's here to say. And,
careful with the lyrics. Careful with the lyrics on that one.
Right, yeah, but there is no Checkpoint Charlie, and it throws in a load of
it's
historic.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Right,
it's a
yes.
fantastic track.
Yeah, but it means fuck all.
Right. Okay. Because I don't know, and because there's a thing about the white blah blah blah, and I thought it might have had some kind of deeper meaning.
Right.
But
okay.
I don't know.
Here's what it is. It's a whole bunch of noticeable, memorable things that are put together in something that'll rhyme, but actually try to figure it out, make head nor tail of it, you fucking can't.
Sounds about right.
Right, but it sounds like an intelligent song. It sounds like one of those songs that means something. Right.
I was a sucker for it. I liked it. You know, I thought it was a lot better than a Secret Lemonade Drinker, which is also he was responsible for that as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, but it is a good song, and it works really well as a pop song. But there's no actual meaning to it, and it's the same with the vast majority of our songs, good lyrics. Okay, there's a lot of love songs, romance songs, songs about relationships and stuff that you can get. Yeah, that means something about that relationship, but there's very Robbie Williams in some of his songs talks some bits of truth. He's probably one of the few people that's been able to do that, but the vast majority of, and if that's what you're listening to as lyrics all the time, it's not going to be long before you're turned off by them.
And it's not only the lyrics, 42, right? And I often talk about me not being a creative type. I'm a pragmatic type, but I do advocate and do use music theory, right? And it's very, very important to me because I'm not a creative. So the technical side of music is what I do. That's what I do. But and you do it very well. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. But the chord structures in modern pop music, there are about probably 6 very common chord structures, and maybe going up to 10 possible chord structures that are in nearly every song that you could name, or a derivative from that. You know, there's so many what I'll call like a 1, 5, 6, 4, which would be the root, the 5th, and the 6th, and the 4th of the scale, and the chord structure would be around that. Like a typical blues rock and roll type thing will be a 1, 4, 5. We'll call that 1, 4, 5. We know there are thousands, if not millions, of songs like that, but there are literally in pop music probably only about 6 commonly used chord structures, and they're repeated time and time and time again. And it's just it's getting to the point you just hear it, and you can hear another song. In a brand new song, you think, well, I've heard this tune before, you know, or I've heard this chord structure before.
Yep. No, check that shit out. Here we go.
You know, so I started listening to more of his music, and I noticed something fascinating about Chris Martin. Check this out. So this is a song that came out like 2 years ago. It goes, "Sing with me, white girls." It goes, "You're a sky, you're a sky, you're a sky full of stars."
That is a 1654, or sorry, 1564 classic.
10 years, same band, different album. Ready? come up to meet you, tell you I'm sorry. It's the same fucking song. A little faster, a little faster. Tears stream down your face, and I will fix you in the sky, in the sky. It's the same fucking song forever and ever and ever. They never change the song because the CIA knows we like it this way.
Absolutely perfect. Can I just say, because I said to you before you put it on, that there are so many 1564s, and he was playing the 1564 and describing 1564s. Now, if people don't know what that is, if you think of the song "Let It Be" by the Beatles, that is one of the most original classics of a 1564. I won't bore you with the details why it's called that. It is to do with the scale of the music. But you will hear that time and time and time again, and there will be another 100 records released into the pop charts with that same chord structure. It's just fucking unbelievable.
Oh, and
No, I disagree with you totally, Almac. I used to sing in the school choir, and I could sing one
Go on, I'll
hell
tell
of
you.
a lot better than he did.
Yeah, but
No, sorry, Roy, go on. I interrupted your comment.
No, I was just saying I could sing a lot better than that person.
right.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's not what. You're not disagreeing with me at all. But that's a classic. That's one of your classic chord structures that's used time and time again, and it's just it's tired.
Yeah.
Well,
But
you'll have to teach me about chord structures. I only know a couple of chords.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, but I'll tell you what, very quickly, very quickly. I'll tell you what a 1564 is, which what that guy was describing there with the Coldplay. So let's just say, for instance, the song, the key was in D. So the D chord would be a D major. That's your 1. So the 5th of your D will be an A, right? And a 6, because music theory will determine that the 6 will always be, or nearly always be, a minor. So
are you talking
B minor?
Lead guitar or bass guitar?
No. I'm talking music theory. I'm talking chord structure.
Okay.
Yeah, it applies to every single instrument ever invented. So your D is your 1, the A is your 5, the B minor will be your 6, and the G will be your 4. And that's your 1564. And you can move that up and down all you like. You'll get that same structure, and that is the classic structure of the song "Let It Be" by the Beatles, and a million songs ever since. That's how they go, and there's no deviation from it, or very little.
Okay. Question for you, Almac. My daughter just bought a Celtic harp. Presumably the same thing applies to that as a violin or a cello.
Yeah, that's
Same structure.
It is Western music theory. We can go on to there are other music theories from the East, which used different intonations and stuff. But what I'm really sort of talking about, Western music theory as we know it.
No, very interesting. Yeah,
it applies to every single instrument virtually. Like a sitar, for instance, obviously an instrument from the East, from India, will have notes that are in between the notes that are in Western instruments. But from the classical sense of classical music, from the I guess from after the Renaissance period, the Western music, that's the sort of notes of musicality and music theory that we mainly go by here, and that will apply to every single instrument.
Don't you think it has to be defined by the piano?
Oh God, no, not at all.
The high notes.
No, not at all. No, a piano is an accompaniment instrument. Is a percussive sorry, I just lost the train for you. It's a percussive accompaniment instrument. But the same thing absolutely applies to all instruments completely. It's the same thing. A piano plays exactly the same notes as a bass guitar, lead guitar, trombone, trumpet, violin, and on we can go. It only plays the same notes. What the difference is with a piano, it's able to play. It's a polyphonic
Multiple
instrument.
notes.
It can play multiple notes. So it's a polyphonic instrument. So that makes it the ideal accompaniment instrument in the same way as like a 6-string guitar. Whether it be an acoustic or whatever, they're ideal as being accompaniment instruments.
That's very interesting, Olmac. I like that. My son Henry, he achieved grade 8 piano at school, but then went on and also played the bagpipes.
Right,
He had those two things.
that's a turnaround.
Yeah, those two things reacted because one leads it to another.
Yeah, I think again the way that the intonation of bagpipes is still like of a Western nature, so you could play the same melody on a bagpipe as you could on a piano, and vice versa. Whereas you sit like the example of a sitar, where you do have sort of notes in between, is a little bit different. But yeah, that's amazing. To be able to play the bagpipes. I mean, I'm Scottish, and I don't get too irritated by the sound of the bagpipes.
Oh, you know what, Almac? I have to tell you this. He was, 16 at the time, and his tutor, Mr. Kerr, said, "Do you want to join the pipe band?" And Henry came back to me and said, "Daddy, I need some bagpipes." And I looked them up. I mean, the decent set was £1,000 back then.
Yeah.
And from the north of Scotland, I turned around to him and I said, "Look, Henry, if I buy you these, you can't give it up. You have
Yeah,
to
I
learn to
won't.
play them."
I promise I'll.
And actually, he ended up, I forget what it was, HMS Invincible or something. He ended up playing on the flight deck of HMS Invincible when it sailed into Portland Harbour on the flight deck.
Wow,
There was a Harrier above.
fantastic.
And everyone in Portsmouth, they were cheering it, unfortunately cheering it.
Oh, to bring this
coming
back
into decommission, but that was quite fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's cool.
To bring this back to lyrics, I'll give you a cracking example. Don McLean, American Pie.
Yeah.
Right. And it
Right. American Pie.
Yeah, drove my Chevy, the levee was dry. The jester sang for the king and queen on a boat, and a Cody Barry borrowed from James Dean. And see, whenever you actually get that song and start to read it as a work and try to figure out what it means, and even if you ask nobody can ever figure out what it means because it means nothing. And whenever Don McLean was asked what it all meant, Don McLean's answer was, "It means I never have to work again."
Yeah, I mean, it must be so good to be able to answer in that way, whether he actually meant it or not.
Oh,
and I like to think he probably did mean it, because it is probably a lot of nonsense. But he was right. He didn't have to work again. What can you say?
Yeah. That's him, one and done. I can live my life on the back of that. But the majority of our music means fuck all. Off the top of my head, I can think of 4 songs that have genuine. Actually, not even 4. Even Stiff Little Fingers, the 4 that they did about Northern Ireland. Alternative Ulster actually does have a meaning. Alternative Ulster is an idea that we could all just forget about the troubles and make rock music, but that's not going to work.
Oh, 42. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. No, carry on. Sorry.
Right.
I just thought of something.
Inflammable material makes a bit of a point. And what's the other one? Still I come to me for the same feelings. Wasted Life is a song about not joining paramilitaries, but out of that, the rest of Stiff Hot Fingers, and I like their music, but there's none of it means very much. They're good pop songs, but which is where you find the difference whenever you begin to then read poetry that is designed to carry a message.
Yeah. I think in some ways poetry probably can convey a message in some ways in a stronger way than music does, because the music is a distraction and the melody is a distraction, and you can be humming a melody and a tune, and people can be singing those words and not even think about what they mean because it's just a tune. And that's what music does. When you hear a poem, read by someone who means it, and let's not, say too much about that for the moment.
Yeah.
But it has power that I never really recognised before. And it has real deep power. It's more like a speech in front of thousands of people where everyone's listening. And even though it's done with rhyme and a rhythm, you don't have that distraction of the melody and the music. And I think in a lot of ways, it's far more powerful. And I think it's like a forgotten art in a way.
It's worse than it's forgotten. We have got an education system that is designed to stop children thinking.
Yep.
And we have an education system that is the vocabulary of children leaving school, well, young people leaving school at 16 is about half of what it was of the young people left school at 16 25 years ago. Just the amount of words that they generally use and the way they interact with language. And unfortunately, our kids are leaving school. Oh, I'm better than that. They did a thing in America where they gave people tests whenever they started university and whenever they left university. And it turned out that over the 4 years of university, it's become fucking dumber.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
No, obviously me sarcastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other thing is, what is music? What is musical education in schools these days? I mean, I don't see much of that personally.
Yeah, I've no idea. I left school a long time ago.
Yeah. I don't see any education in school these days.
I do remember. I do remember in music. I didn't really, even though I was sort of playing an instrument at quite an early age, 14, I think I started. I didn't really pay a lot of attention to music lessons at school. But I do remember, it was all very sort of hip, and this must have been about 97 or something like that. We I suppose it was quite cool, but we studied The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd in the music lesson.
Excellent album. Best album ever.
Excellent album, without doubt. But I wasn't really.
I have a white vinyl copy of that.
We don't need no education, no. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't need no thought control.
Yeah, it's a beggar's belief, and it's not even when we've got schools that are geared to stop children thinking, and they don't want anybody to think about anything anymore. They've got a prescribed set of questions that have a prescribed set of answers, and if you don't have the prescribed answers, regardless of whether or not they're actually the fucking right answers, you get rejected. It's fucking nuts.
Well, I've heard 2 and 2 equals 5 these days. So,
Oh, funny. That actually is going into schools without being funny.
Oh yeah. That's 101 wokery, isn't it?
Yeah, but because you can no longer definitely decide what 2 is, so therefore 2 and 2 does not necessarily make 4. And I'm like,
okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Not.
If 2 is not fixed, 2 and 2 does not necessarily make 4.
Look,
right.
All this nonsense, right? It's gotta come to an end soon.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, truth and immutable facts have got to come back up and surface.
Right.
And just everybody, it's got to be an end to this madness.
But
soon.
see the people that put that into the education system, right? Under racial mathematics.
Marxist fuckers.
Right, yes, but I swear to fuck, that is actually in 1984. Whenever Winston's in the thing, that they couldn't even go and pick something that wasn't. Do you know what I mean? They lifted that straight out of 1984.
Yeah.
And put it in they couldn't even think up their new fucking thing to change.
Well, it is an instruction manual, isn't it?
Yeah, fuck, it is.
Marxist. I know it's a lot of well-used meme, but for fuck's sake, it is, isn't it?
Oh, well, funny you mention that. At Christmas, I tend to be in bookshops at Christmas because books are one of the things that are a good present for my dad that he enjoys reading, and there are because he likes to read stuff about the military, World War I, World War II. He really enjoys that. So I would be in Christmas and whatnot. Every time I've been in a bookshop for the last, I don't know how many years it is, probably about 6 years ago I started doing this. I go to the fiction and find 1984. and move it to the fact section.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be done, isn't it? It's beyond the joke, isn't it, now?
Oh, fuck.
You were talking about Pink Floyd there for a while, Almac.
Yeah.
I thought I'd better tell you, I actually attended the original 1981 concert at Earl's Court.
Oh, right, yes, but that was an iconic gig, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And when they came out with it in the flesh, you know, towards the end. They built the wall up and they took it down the second half of the concert, and they came out with In the Flesh, which was like, who let all this riff-raff? Careful on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it was amazing because everyone was
Yeah.
looking around at each other and going, yeah, we agree, this is good. You know, your old Roger Waters.
Shame
But
about
also-
Roger Waters. I was going to mention Roger Waters before. Sorry to butt in, but
No,
yeah.
carry on.
Yeah, no, that was it really. Just what do you make of Roger Waters? And I think before you answer, I think there's been a couple of things that he said recently that have been slightly more based than the sort of ultra lefty sort of Marxist.
I agree. Yeah,
for years, hasn't he? Yeah, go on.
He's always been a bit of a lefty, but I agree. He has come out with a few things recently. But interesting here, and I don't trust him, I'm afraid. A great
Me
musician,
neither.
no doubt about it. But interesting, this was really funny. I had a relationship with a woman I met at university, and then she said, I was listening to not Touch the Moon, the previous album,
Shit, what was it called?
Yes, come on the top of my head, but never mind.
Yeah.
And I'm playing this, and she said, turned around and he said, oh my gosh, Richard Wright used to teach me piano.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. I mean, oh, sorry.
It must have been the very early days of Pink Floyd, because obviously he needed the money, you know, teaching piano lessons. But I was like, what? And this is like my favourite band, and you're saying that Richard Wright taught you piano? Oh yeah, as a young girl. I was like, oh my God, it's too much. But there we go.
Well, it's funny to mention about early Floyd, because I did go down a little bit of a Syd Barrett rabbit hole recently, because I wasn't never really that much into Floyd, but I did like. I absolutely adore, and still do, adore tracks like See Him Really Play and Arnold Lane, which was Syd Barrett tracks from, from the early years. So recently I did go down a bit of a rabbit hole and checking out sort of Syd Barrett stuff.
Well, I agree. No, it's not a rabbit hole.
Yeah, and what was quite what I
I'm
noticed
trying to
was
think of the longest song. Something about
Interstellar Overdrive,
proving with the
like
picked.
Oh, right. But when I listen to some of the, I was just sort of like checking stuff out on Spotify and YouTube now. When I listen to some of the stuff that he did post Pink Floyd when he left, a lot of it's just nonsense, and it's really. When you see him when he play Arnold Lane, they have a kind of, I don't know, kind of slightly sort of cheeky, immature thing to them, but the rest of his writing also did as well. And I was a little bit disappointed when I heard stuff that he'd done after that band. It was all a bit. It was just being weird for the sake of being weird, and I just thought, yeah. I think I've got him sussed.
I tend to agree, but his early works with Big Floyd.
Oh, look, Ceremony Play,
absolutely
just an amazing track.
Yes.
I just love them. It's probably in my top 20 favourite tunes of all time. And the only reason I'm saying that now is because it was only recently I went down the rabbit hole. But so I had no idea what he did after that, and I had no idea what he looked like after that until I was sort of checking out some photos, and he, before he died, I know, I can't believe how long ago was it he died? It was not that long ago, but he was virtually unrecognisable. It might have been 10, 15 years ago.
Well,
Just unrecognisable.
Just to butt in there slightly. He turned up at the studio in London a few years after he left Pink Floyd, and he got really fat.
That's
They
right.
didn't even recognise him.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just read about that recently, and when you see the photos of him, it's just like, wow. It's just, I'm no I'm no skinny mini myself, but it just it's amazing.
Anyway, there we go.
Roy.
Back to you. Come on, it's
Right,
2 o'clock.
right.
Nearly
Yes, it
2
is.
o'clock in the morning.
We're getting ready for wrapping up. It's a Duck has made a very valid point. Roy, have you started working on your memoirs yet?
Again?
Have you started working on your writing your memoirs yet?
No, I haven't. No.
Could you please do that? You're.
Well, I'm not sure quite where to start. I don't know. I tell you where to start.
Well, as long as it doesn't take you 7 years, like
Yeah,
David
so-
Field, it's
Yeah, it's
3
actually
months.
Being a Boy Scout at prep school and being issued with a Bowie knife and being allowed to make tree houses and underground bunkers and kill the enemy. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Sorry, YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep.
But see, here's the thing, Roy. With most things, you don't really know what structure it's going to take, but memoirs are pretty set because you start when you're young and you end when you're old, and you put things into pretty much as the best chronological order as you can, and you do all you do it like Pulp Fiction style, where you go right the Concord situation, the whatever situation, and just fucking bump all those wee stories, and do them as all short stories. I swear to fuck, it would be amazing. So yeah, there's something for you to think about possibly doing.
Oh, you're muted, Roy. Still, you're still muted.
Yeah. Yeah. Something's happened to my hair, I'm afraid. God knows.
Yeah.
But that's what happens at my age, I'm afraid. Gentlemen.
It's the reality of time.
Yeah.
Right.
Top, man.
Gentlemen, we're now at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, Baz, I know Emma's in bed. Emma has gone snoozing. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Unless you have anything glaringly,
Not me. I only popped in to say hello for 10 minutes.
Yep.
That's about an hour ago.
Yeah, and thank you very much for doing so. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed being able to do a little bit of teasing.
Yes, yeah, that's right, and everyone will know what we mean. And an absolute pleasure to speak to Rory as well, who I've heard many times.
Mate, thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem at all. No problem.
Right.
42. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Goodbye. Again, like Almac, I only came on talk about the Victoria Cross and George Cross issue.
Yeah.
But you seem to have kept me here for 2 hours or something.
Yeah. What can I say? The crack's good.
Dirty bastard.
Yeah. Right.
So, man.
Okay. I am going to put up a bit of music. This is if you normally make it as long as the outro, you've heard this one before. This is a song called Big White Triangle by Justice Kane, and I'm going to have the person that sings this on in the very near future. And that's the end of all
Yep.
my clues.
Easy now.
Yeah, here we go. And stick your comments up in the. Keep writing your comments. I'll stick them up on the screen. And here we go.
They say that seeing is believing. What else can you do? And if my eyes don't deceive me, then the truth I'm telling you, it was a warm summer's eve in the month of June. We were out in the backyard, messing around, playing some old tune. Up in the moonlit sky, something out of the ordinary caught his eye. It was so profound, made no sound. It wasn't a flying saucer, it wasn't an aeroplane, it was a big white giant. It was a very close encounter, first of its kind. Unidentified flying object messing with my mind. Gliding across the rooftops, as quiet as a cloud, like something out of a sci-fi movie. The truth I finally been allowed. I just happened to be in the right place, fortunately at the right time. Should have seen the look of shock on Chris's face, sheer delight of mine. Big white triangle, big white triangle. We are not alone, no, we are not alone. It was a big white triangle over Chris's heart that night.
You see what I'm seeing?
Are you seeing what I see? Wasn't a flying saucer, no sir, wasn't an aeroplane. I just happened to be in the right place. I'll never feel the same again. Big white triangle, big white triangle, big white triangle, a big white triangle. We are not alone. You see what I see? No, we are not alone. It was a big white triangle over Chris's heart that night. Wasn't a flying saucer, no sir, wasn't an aeroplane, a meteor or a satellite. Yeah, maybe I might be insane. Big white triangle, big white triangle, big white triangle.
Okay, everybody. Rory's been Rory, Al's been Al, I've been 42, and you lot in the chat have again been fucking amazing. Thank you. Good night and God bless.